I'm Jack Martin. After graduating from college, I joined a major food manufacturing company, and this marks my 10th year there. I think I'm not too bad looking, but I'm still single. When I was a newbie, I didn't know right from left and was just a beginner. But I was blessed with some great colleagues, and I've put in a fair effort. So now I'm a team leader with a few subordinates. I've never directly asked, but I think they look up to me. The company is somewhat old-fashioned, so there are quite a few after-work socials, and maybe it's because I often help with work-related or personal matters, dealing with problems at work or having drinks with subordinates and juniors. But that's just my speculation. Given my position, I've become something like a mentor to the new hires. I've trained quite a few newcomers over the past years, but there was an unusually assertive woman among this year's new hires.
Martin, I need a favor from you.
One day, the manager approached me with a discussion about this year's new recruit. Well, it was more of a request than a discussion. What's going on? Why so formal all of a sudden?
Oh, it's about a woman named Eleanor Smith.
Smith.
Don't recognize the name?
She shares the same name as the boss. Could it be?
Yes, she's the daughter of President Smith.
The boss's daughter. Is there something special about her?
No, the president doesn't want any preferential treatment. Just treat her normally.
That could be a bit tricky.
That's the problem. Apparently, she's a spoiled child of a doting father. Quite self-centered, to put it plainly.
Typical rich kid, I guess.
They say she's very aggressive, gets whatever she wants, or absolutely refuses to do anything she doesn't feel like doing.
That sounds like a real pain. Wait, does that mean? The manager grinned and said,
You catch on fast. We plan to assign her to your department. I want you to be in charge of her training.
So it's already decided then.
You've got a good track record, and you're known for taking care of others. We thought it over, and you're the best fit. So, I'm counting on you.
With that, he patted me on the shoulder and left his seat. Hold on, wait. Manager, I was left feeling rather gloomy and headed to the break room for a coffee to collect my farts. I swear, without even asking for my opinion, maybe I should refuse. The black coffee tasted even more bitter than usual. But I hadn't met her yet, and judging solely on rumors seemed wrong. I finished my coffee and thought, well, I'll just take it as part of the job and give it a shot. I threw the empty paper cup in the trash and returned to my desk. Then the new employee's first day arrived, and I saw fresh faces in new suits everywhere. I could see the tense faces and attitudes of everyone, and it made me smile a bit. A new employee has been assigned to our department. I was waiting with anticipation and anxiety to see what kind of young lady she might be. But what's going on? The workday has long since begun. Besides, the new employee was supposed to arrive at the office 30 minutes early, but she hasn't arrived yet. The department head was planning to introduce her at the morning meeting, but he's flustered since she hasn't shown up, and everyone in our department is getting irritated. Since I'm in charge of training, I decided to contact her, but she's not answering the phone, and there's nothing I can do.
It seems like something's come up. Well, if she's not here, we can't introduce her. So for now, everyone please start working.
The department head said, confusedly calling off the morning meeting. If it were 10 or 20 minutes, it could be a train delay, but she's not showing up even after an hour or two. And just when it was almost lunchtime, an unfamiliar woman entered the room, dressed in flashy, glittery clothes with thick makeup. Her appearance was entirely inappropriate for a food company and drew everyone's attention.
Who is that? Who is she?
Everyone present thought the same thing. She entered the room, looked around, and grabbed a person nearby, asking,
Where's my seat? I was told to come here starting today. Excuse me, but who might you be? You don't know me. I'm Eleanor Smith. I was told to work in Sales Division 3.
She said it quite loudly, so everyone in the room was paying attention to her.
Oh, if you're in Sales Division 3, that desk by the window is yours. Oh, okay.
With that, she confidently headed our way.
Is this Sales Division 3? Where's my seat?
The department head stood up and rushed to the woman.
Well, are you Eleanor Smith? Your seat is over here. I'm the head of Sales Division 3, where you've been assigned. Is that so? And this is Martin, the section chief, who will be in charge of your training. Well, Martin, this is Eleanor Smith, who's been assigned to our team. And now, I'll leave the rest to you.
With that, the department head hurried back to his own seat. I'm Martin, your supervisor. I've been told to train you in various aspects of the job. Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Her condescending attitude irked me a bit, but having heard about her beforehand, I managed to keep my cool. First of all, before we get to the job, there's something I need to tell you. I was about to caution her about being late today, but her reply was unexpected.
Hey, I'm the new girl here. Aren't you going to welcome me? Normally, people welcome the newbie, right? Everyone's ignoring me and just fiddling with their computers. The atmosphere feels kinda gloomy, doesn't it?
I couldn't find the words to respond, taken aback by her expectation of a welcome. She's more spoiled than the rumors had it. But reminding myself that this was part of my job, I steeled myself to train her. Miss Smith, do you know what time it is? It's almost noon.
How would I know that?
You don't know the time?
I don't have a watch, and my phone's battery died, so I need to charge it.
What is she talking about? She needs to be educated from scratch. Just as I thought that.
Hey, enough with that. When will I be shown to my seat? Hurry up and show me where it is.
I was about to lose it at her attitude, and I could feel my fists clenching involuntarily. Seeing this, my boss quickly grabbed my arm, saying,
Now,
but it felt more like he was protecting himself.
Oaxaca, well, I'll leave the rest to you.
With that, he slunk back to his seat. He seemed to be avoiding the sparks that were flying. Regaining my composure, I told myself that it's a job, and I have to do it, and then started her instruction. For starters, I've prepared office supplies and a work computer for you. Your seat is next to mine. Store the office supplies in the desk and set up the computer. Read this manual if you need help, and ask me if you have any questions.
Yeah, such a hassle.
She sighed and reluctantly began to put things away and prepare. I'm the one who wants to sigh. What a piece of work I've been assigned. But anyway, she was assigned to our department and will be working in sales. I thought I'd start with teaching her about the job. I instructed her on how to negotiate with clients, greet them, and so on. But the boss's daughter showed no motivation, saying,
Why do I have to do this kind of work? There's no way I'll be motivated by this kind of job.
I sighed. My department is in sales, so we need to get our clients to buy our products. Selling to clients is your job. Focus on the task at hand for now. She was pouting, but she was going through the training at least. Anyhow, she was lacking common sense big time, but I went on with the training schedule calmly. And finally, it was time for her sales debut. From the clients I'm in charge of, I picked a safe, long-term associate to take her to. It was just a meet and greet, so all she had to do was smile in the background. But considering her behavior so far, I couldn't expect her to behave. I told her over and over, this person is an important client. Please be mindful of your manners. But I couldn't help feeling nervous. The client was interested in the new recruit and kept asking questions, and I was so on edge that it wore me out. Well, we somehow managed to get through it without any mishaps, and we left the client's office. The client's representative was kind and overlooked some minor rudeness, saying it's because she's new. It helped a lot. But if one client wears me out this much, I wonder when she will be able to stand on her own. It's worrisome. Before I knew it, it was almost time to clock out. Why do I have to go through this? I was thinking, lost in thought. When I looked around, she was nowhere to be found. I thought she might be in the convenience store, but she wasn't inside. I couldn't find her in front or behind me. I was wondering where she had gone since we had to go back to the office to write a report. So I tried calling her. And then,
Oh, is that you, boss? What do you need?
it's not what do you need. Where are you now? We have to go back to the office and write a report.
What? But isn't it time to clock out? So I'm in a taxi on my way home. Wasn't I supposed to go straight home? So I'm going home now.
Hey, she said what she had to say and hung up on me. What a spoiled attitude. Even I was at my wit's end. And the next day, I grabbed her, who, as usual, arrived late to the office. Come here.
What? All of a sudden?
Just follow me. Without even being surprised by my anger, she followed me, maintaining her usual attitude. I then took her to the conference room and sat her down. Why did you leave on your own yesterday?
Well, it was quitting time, so work was over, and I didn't want to do overtime. So I went home.
You know, at least tell me when you're leaving. If you disappear without a word, I'll get worried, won't I?
I don't need to say that every time. It's normal to go home after quitting time, isn't it?
Letting me know that you're leaving is common courtesy. Don't you even understand that much?
You're scaring me, sir.
Of course I am. You're completely useless right now. Not just in sales, but as a person. What about yesterday? Why didn't you say anything to me? You should have told me if you were going home. You'll be isolated in the company like this. Do you understand?
You don't have to say that much.
You're the one making me say this. I let my anger get the best of me and said quite a bit. After about an hour of such back and forth, she was unable to argue back and fell silent. But having said my piece and calmed down a bit, I noticed her attitude had changed. Her lips were pursed, eyes brimming with tears, and her fists tightly clenched. Still, she was glaring at me. And then, when her mouth opened, I thought,
You have some nerve to lecture me. Be prepared.
She shouted and stormed out of the room. Honestly, I wanted to punch the old me who had agreed to take on her training. I figured she wouldn't be back at her desk for a while, so I killed some time drinking coffee in the break room. Thinking it was about time, I went back to my desk and found,
Martin, what on earth did you do to her?
What do you mean? I was just giving her some guidance.
She went home crying.
Sigh. I didn't expect her to leave. It's like she's shooting herself in the foot. Afterward, my supervisor told me,
Be a little gentler.
and,
She's still a newcomer.
but when I said, So, will you take care of her? She's a tough one. He fell silent. The next day, my boss told me that the president wanted to see me.
The president just told me to have you come over. He says he has something important to talk about. Well, I'm sure it's not good news.
The other employees were also whispering among themselves. Everyone knows the situation so far, and it's common knowledge that she's the boss's daughter. Analyzing the given information, the answer becomes clear. All right, I got it. I'll head over to the boss's office.
Yeah, please do that.
I felt like my life is over, like I've been sentenced to death. Knowing her, most likely, she tattled on me to her father, the boss. With her personality, she probably exaggerated the bad stuff. I wonder if I'll get by on my severance pay and savings for a while. But will I even get severance pay? I won't get it if it's for misconduct. These thoughts crossed my mind as I headed for the boss's office. Feeling heavy, both in my mind and my steps, I knocked on the door of the boss's office. It's Martin from the sales department.
Come in.
Yes, excuse me. I opened the door and went in, where both the department head and the boss were present. I'm definitely getting fired. With that thought in my mind, frozen in place,
Sorry to bother you during work hours. Thanks for coming. Now, please have a seat.
somewhat taken aback by the boss's unexpected demeanor, I obediently took my seat. Then the boss suddenly bowed his head to me.
I'm very sorry for everything. From what I've heard, my daughter has been quite a bother to you, hasn't she?
Well, yes, but please raise your head for now. Having the boss bow to me was a first in my life. Confused, I looked at the boss, who began to speak warmly, with a gentle smile.
There's something you should know about my daughter. There have been various things up until now.
So sum up the boss's story. When he started this company and his daughter was still young, her mother had worked tirelessly with the boss, but the strain led to her hospitalization. Then it was just the boss and her at home. During her sensitive years, she craved her mother's love and started taking out her frustrations on her father. The boss, busy with work and regretting his inability to pay her enough attention, gave her everything she wanted. That indulgence had a negative effect, turning her into the spoiled daughter she is now. That's when he realized his mistakes in raising her. Hearing this story, I couldn't help but understand. She was venting her frustrations and resentment towards her father at work. Was it what you call revenge? I don't care what she thinks of her father, but I wish she'd stop at a company with privileges.
First off, I must say I'm sorry for entrusting you with my daughter's education. Honestly, I feel like a failure as a father.
The boss bowed his head again.
But I've heard you're good at taking care of others within the company. My daughter has been disobedient, but since receiving your guidance, she's been slowly changing. It means that trusting you with this wasn't a mistake.
I didn't know what to say, but it seemed like the situation wasn't going to be a disaster.
Since this just happened yesterday, you might have gotten the wrong impression, but the reality is the opposite. I want you to work even harder. Educate my daughter strictly, and don't hold back on my account. Feel free to scold her as you see fit.
Yes, sir. The boss must have realized that spoiling her wouldn't be good for his daughter.
What do you think? I'm leaving this entirely up to you. No matter what my daughter says, I won't interfere. So will you please educate her strictly in your way?
Yes, sir. I understand. I'll do my best to meet your expectations.
I don't mean to bring personal matters into this, but please do take care of it.
The outcome was unexpected, but it felt like a heavy responsibility had been entrusted to me. And so, I decided to change my attitude toward her. The next day, as she strolled into the office after the start time, I said, "Smith, what time do you think it is?"
Mr. Martin, good morning. It's 10:30, right?
I've been too lenient with you until now. From now on, I'm going to be strict. Be prepared.
Strict? What do you mean? Can you even say that?
Yes, I'll say whatever I want. First of all, why are you coming to work at this hour? You were taught the company's work hours in the orientation, weren't you?
Yeah.
So, what time do we start work at our company?
8:50.
Why is it that you always leave on time but never arrive on time?
What do you mean? I'm not a morning person.
If that excuse worked, no one would come in at 8:50, right? What time do you usually get up?
9.
I'm shocked. 9 o'clock means you're late for work.
I'm sorry.
Set your alarm for 6 from tomorrow on. I always make sure to arrive at the office by 8:30. You should do the same.
What? That's impossible.
If you're late again, I've decided to punish you. At this point, her face turned bright red. She was furious.
Well, what? Do you have the right to do that?
Yes, I do. It's been decided. Regarding you, I have been entrusted with everything by the company's president. So, the president won't have any say in what I decide.
That's tyrannical. Abuse of authority.
Yes, that's right. I'll put my authority to good use. Starting tomorrow, there will be penalties for tardiness. If you can't fix it, I'll even consider a pay cut.
That's.
If you don't like the penalties, work diligently. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
She reluctantly agreed with my opinion. Today's tardiness is inexcusable, but first, straighten yourself up. Our company deals with food. Employees must maintain a clean appearance. Besides, you're in sales. The last client let it slide, but not everyone will. Start by grooming yourself and watch your language. With that, I heard her grumbling something under her breath.
No, I understand.
If you have a complaint against me, feel free to voice it. Just watch your language. You're a professional. Act like one.
Yes.
With that, I declared war in front of everyone, but there was still a dissatisfied look on her face. So I moved the location to the conference room to continue the lecture. First, the necessity of grooming oneself, hair length, nail length, etc., and how to carry oneself as an employee dealing with food. General common sense as a working professional. As I pointed out each item, the complaints started.
What's wrong with my hairstyle? As long as it's set properly. As for nails, as long as they're nicely polished with nail polish, there's no problem, right?
Then, I stressed the importance of awareness as a food company. Even off the field, we need to have the same sense of cleanliness. She argued about individuality, personal rights, and freedom, but don't confuse selfishness with individuality. I made clear. Anyway, it's meaningless unless the person changes their mind. I talked persistently. Also, grooming isn't just about clothing. Watch the hair length and nail length. Since we're a food company, not just a field staff, but all employees need to be careful.
Well, even hair and nails. But I'm not making food, am I?
That's a given. But a food company's employees giving discomfort to others is unacceptable. Therefore, you have to convey a sense of cleanliness. That's part of grooming.
I understand.
She looked unconvinced, but, well, she agreed, so let's leave it at that. And she started implementing this method. But the very next day, she was late again. Smith, what happened today? All I heard was I'm on my way.
But I couldn't get up that early all of a sudden.
I see, I understand. Then, as announced, I'll give you your punishment. First, bathroom cleaning. Men and women both.
What? Bathroom cleaning? This isn't school.
Don't complain. This is my way.
But the cleaning lady always does that.
So what? Work with her and learn how to do it. Come here. With that, I grabbed Smith's arm and took her to the bathroom. I then handed her the cleaning tools. But she threw the cleaning tools she was holding onto the ground.
I can't do this. I just can't handle it. Well, you mustn't handle the tools so roughly.
A voice came from behind. It was the cleaning lady.
This is the one Mr. Martin was talking about. I see. A kid worth training.
Yeah, ma'am. I asked for her, and she's on duty from today. She's pretty tough, but please take care of her.
I understand. Leave it to me. What the? Who are you, lady?
This is Maria Teller. Everyone in our company knows her. She's great at taking care of others. Every year, she helps with training the newbies. She's a stricter training instructor than me. Go on, introduce yourself.
Yes. I'm Eleanor Smith from the sales department. Nice to meet you. I'm Maria Teller. I've been doing this job for 15 years. Born and raised in Brooklyn. I'm the nosy aunt that nobody can beat. I'll teach you how to clean. So, brace yourself.
Maria said, laughing loudly. But nobody calls her Mrs. Teller. Everyone just calls her Aunt. To a surprised Smith, Maria said,
Now, pick up the tools. The tools are weapons, so we must use them with care. Aye. I've never cleaned a bathroom before. Well, this is a good opportunity. I'll teach you properly. You can't go home until this is done, so be prepared.
Hearing this, she looked at me pleadingly. Smith, that's the situation. You might be inexperienced in your job, but you can still contribute here. Learn how to clean while reflecting on yourself, all right?
Yes, good. I'll lend you a spare apron, so get ready. Hurry, otherwise I'll splash water on your nice dress.
Well, ma'am, sorry to trouble you, but please take care of it.
Yeah, leave it to me.
I went back to work, but I couldn't concentrate. After about 30 minutes, I went to check on them.
Look, drawing circles like that won't get the dirt off. You're too slow. At this rate, it'll be down before we finish. Don't you know how to clean properly? You've got to get the brush into the corners. Like this. Yes, like that. Put more force into it. My hands are tired. I can't put any more strength into it. You're so sloppy. You've only finished 2. There's still 3 more to go, you know. Even I, who's past 60, do this on every floor every day. Talking about being tired. Youngsters these days, you should be thanking Martin. He's seriously thinking about you. That's why he's going this far. If he'd given up on you, he'd have thrown you out a long time ago. Is that so? Why do you think I, who mostly just has hard work, am taking care of you? It's not just me. When I look at you, I want to help you somehow. You need to realize that you are loved.
I was about to say something, but seeing her working so passionately, my thoughts changed a bit. Sweating bullets, panting, and giving her all to the cleaning task. Smith was the very image of desperation. Guess punishment really is necessary. Sure enough, that was the case. From the next day on, the number of times she was late decreased significantly. The older lady also gave her stamp of approval.
That girl really has potential. She just hasn't been putting in the effort until now. If we bring her up right, she'll really shine.
And so, sometime later, During a training session about negotiating product delivery prices with Smith, it was rare to see her taking the conversation seriously, and she was taking careful notes when she approached me.
Thanks for today. It was very informative. I appreciate it.
Smith said, Hey, you're being awfully agreeable today. Eat something strange or what? I replied.
What are you talking about? I'm being serious here.
Sorry. So, what's up?
Well,
What is it?
why do you put up with me, even though I'm so full of myself?
That's because it's my job, and I want you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. That's why I even organized this training session. She was aware that she was self-centered. I felt oddly satisfied.
Do you get anything out of me standing on my own?
Of course I do.
What is it?
First off, I'll be free from unnecessary stress.
Come on, answer me seriously.
Well, if I can delegate tasks to you, it'll lessen my workload. Smith made a face and said,
You're quite the soft touch, aren't you? So is that old lady.
What kind of big talk is that? Just when I thought you'd become more humble, you're still cheeky.
That's just my personality.
She said, seeming angry, then turned her head and stormed out of the room. Well, she's definitely grown, even if she's still a bit sassy. I've actually entrusted her with several clients. I've been checking in with them, worried, but overall, the feedback has been positive. When I think back to her attitude on the first day she joined the company, she seems like a totally different person now, which feels oddly poignant. Despite everything, I'm glad I didn't give up on her and continue to guide her. I must also thank the older lady who helped me look after her. And then, 5 years passed. I was promoted to department manager, having been recognized for my guidance back then. The president also mentioned that I was owed thanks for that time. Smith, the one in question, is now a supervisor with her own subordinates. I used to think she was a tough nut to crack, but looking more closely, she has some appealing aspects I hadn't noticed. But from her subordinate's point of view, she had become a strict boss.
You still can't do it. You can't make it in our company like this. If you're going to be late, call me. I won't accept an email. And hey, dressing nicely is fine, but we're a full company. Long nails are strictly prohibited. Make sure you cut them neatly.
She was saying lines just like the old me, guiding her subordinates. It's amazing how that self-centered young woman has changed. No, her mouth was always ahead of its time. As I was thinking about all this,
Manager, we need to leave soon, or we'll be late for our appointment with the client.
all right, wait a moment. I need to get ready. I was lost in thought and got scolded by Supervisor Smith. As the two of us left, you've changed. Well, my hard work paid off, I guess.
Yes, thanks to your guidance, manager. But isn't your tie a bit loose? Please fix it. Appearance matters for an employee of a food company.
She said, and then properly tightened my tie. Sorry about that. But I couldn't fix your talkativeness, could I?
What are you talking about? More importantly, have you looked over the documents for today? You're the one presenting, manager.
She's still as talkative as ever, but she remembered my birthday and gave me a tie as a gift. I wore it for the first time today, and she seemed to notice.
Oh, and that tie.
Oh yeah, thanks. My taste is pretty bad, and I always got scolded for it. You can't get mad about this one, right?
Goodness, that's not what's important here.
And she muttered under her breath.
This total klutz.
I could hear her, but what was she talking about? Well, if this presentation goes well, maybe we can toast to our success. I thought about that as we hurried to the client.